Survivor specialist Phil and Alexa are back, joined again by Intern, back by popular demand.
Number 4.
This is your 4th
Wow,
podcast?
who's keeping track though?
Not me, of course not.
We got to get like an IMDb page for this, and it'll be like however many episodes I've been in, Alexa, Will, and then Intern at the bottom 4. Yeah. Still less than Vaughn.
So what are your 4s? These 2 fantasy games.
And then I did 2 recaps.
Yeah.
Oh, you did 2. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Super unavailable.
Because Alexa wasn't around. But this is our prop bet game for Survivor Season 38, Edge of Extinction. For anybody who's submitted a boot list or complained about the boot list, either way, I don't care. Submit or don't, complain or don't.
Please submit because we want you guys to be a part of our group.
That was mainly to the people who were complaining. Poor interns over there. Like, I tried to say something nice. It's like, Intern, come on, get better.
Come on, guys, you get a free buff. Like, you put in like 2 minutes of your time and you could win a buff. Like, isn't that so cool?
Exactly.
My favorite ones to submit are when people are like, I just did it based on how fun their names are. And this one guy did like in-depth analyses on each of their names and did his boot list that way.
There you go. So you could do it that way. You could do it anyway, but you got to go and submit a boot list. You don't have to, but you can. That was the last video we did. You could win a buff. And now this is the second time that you can win a buff, which is our prop bet. And for those who are $20 patrons, you can enter our power rankings game, which I know there was a little confusion on that, but anybody who's a $20 patron, the power ranking games will start up after the first episode, and then you'll have to get in your rankings by a certain date, which we'll talk about on our Patreon podcast, which we're going to be doing after this. But anyway, the prop bet game is always a fun one. It's always a little bit more difficult. The way it goes is we have 18 props. We're going to go down the line. We're going to talk about them. We put either 1, 2, or 3 points of confidence on it, but it all has to equal out to 36 points. So you can't put 3 points on everything. You can't put 1 point on everything. You could put 2 points on everything. And the easiest way to figure this out is make sure you have the same number of 1s as you do 3s. We have an example in the description below. It's really not that hard. It just takes a little bit more thought. If you don't feel like doing the math, like I said, just do 2 for everything and just pick who you think will be each thing. But you can only use each player's name once, which is like the most important thing. Because if you use a player's name twice, we're just not going to count it because it's way too difficult to figure out what you meant and who you actually wanted where. It can only be once. Intern did a mock prop bet just to make sure that it worked in our document. And he put Rick for everything with 3 points for everything. So Intern would be a loser who was eliminated. Yeah, he would just be eliminated immediately right off the bat. But yeah, there's an example in the description. It has to equal out to 36, though. Normally it's 40, but there's only 18 people.
Make sure you distinguish between Julie and Julia.
Yes.
Or else whoever's inputting it is just gonna guess.
Yeah.
You might not like it.
Yes. And it will be Intern inputting it because Alexa went and did all of the boot lists herself because she says she was bored, which means Intern didn't hold up as part of the bet from when Miami beat Virginia Tech in football. So Intern now has to do all of the prop bets.
Well, I didn't hold up my part of the bet because you guys didn't let me. So that's really on you guys.
That's true. I was too eager. I was just really excited to get involved with some Google Sheets. But half the reason I did that is so I don't have to touch the prop bet, so that is on YouTube.
No, it's not even on me. Now he has to fulfill his
and now I have to do all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was really worried that I was going to have to do some of the prop bets, but this is fantastic. Intern's going to be inputting them, but we might as well let him come on and tell us what he thinks. This could get pretty messy, guys, going through 3 different versions of prop bets here. I'll just put them into the thing here as we go. So anyway, the 18 prop bets, I'm just going to run through them real quick. This way everybody can hear them, and then we're going to run through them one at a time. Do them in the order that we say them. It has to be done in the order. Don't just randomly do it because we're just going to go down. 1, Rick. 3. That's it. 2, Lauren.
Rick.
2.
3.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So we're just going to run down it. But the 18 prop bets are winner, #blindside, which we kept this year despite the fact that it didn't happen last year because maybe it'll happen this year. But we got rid of the hashtag. So now no longer are you rooting for somebody to actually have a hashtag appear on screen because that didn't happen last year either, and that was really annoying. Number 3 is find a hidden immunity idol. 4 is get 10 or more votes. 5 is get 5 or less votes. 6 is win individual immunity. 7, instead of doing the most confessionals in the premiere, we're doing win an Extinction Island challenge. So as far as we know, there's 2 times that people can get back into the game from Extinction Island. you're trying to pick the person who actually is going to win that challenge. This is probably the hardest one to pick. There's only be 1 or 2 people who win this. Blindfold is back, makes the jury at number 9, which should be really easy this season because it might be the whole cast. Hugs Jeff Probst is still in there, sits out 3 times. 10 or more confessionals in any episode. And then replacing the hashtag one, we have 5 or more days on Extinction Island. So you just need to pick a player who's going to be on Extinction Island for 5 or more days. There can be somebody who's there for 20 and somebody who's there for 5. You get the points either way. Number 14 is torch snuffed, no words. 15 is over an hour in a challenge. 16 confessional in every episode. 17 attends or enjoys 5 or more rewards. And 18 is the episode title. So that was just
wow.
Somebody else talk.
You need like a glass of water after that?
Yeah, I do. My water bottle is empty.
Yeah.
So somebody talk.
So we got rid of, obviously, like we have to get rid of 2 when it's an 18-person season. And one thing to bring up, we did get rid of using the idle nullifier, but I don't know, this wasn't like formally announced today, but the idle nullifier is going to be back this season and they do know about it. So this is kind of like the Ghost Island cast with the final 4 fire making twist. As a viewer, they're not going to talk about it, but the idle nullifier is going to be back, which now that I'm talking out loud, we probably should have replaced hashtag blindside with using the idle nullifier, but we are in too deep and we will deal with that next season.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. We can figure it out. Because I mean, the idle
time hashtag blindside even happened.
It was in Ghost Island.
With
Gonzalez, right?
Gonzalez had it, yeah, right off the bat.
Okay, so that wasn't long ago.
Yeah, it just last season didn't have any hashtags, so we might as well figure out if they're going to change it up, if they're going to add them back in. I don't know. Plus, I like having 2 things that are Extinction Island-ish, and then we had to cut 2 things completely because last year we had 20 props. This year we only have 18. And we might as well leave the hashtag blindside because it was a very, very big standard for a while on Survivor, and it might not be done yet. It might just feel like it's done. It just might be a temporary thing where last season they didn't feel anybody deserved it because every vote was a blindside last season. There was no reason to try to get people pumped.
That is a very good point.
Oh no, Alexa, our description has the David versus Goliath cast.
Yes, it does. I directly copied and pasted it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Yeah, everybody can figure. Hey, that's the David versus Goliath cast. Just know that. That's not going to be the cast that you're
going to do not input any of those names except for there was one overlap.
Chris and Christian, I think, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. Question mark. Yeah. Maybe. So write Chris, but don't write Christian anywhere.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So it's always stupid because we start this off with the most important one, but we're starting it off with winner. So who's everybody got for winner? I think I already know Intern. So Intern, why don't you go first?
Okay. So actually, first question, is winner doubled?
I don't think we're
right. Are we doing that or no?
I don't think we've doubled them.
So to be extremely candid, in the Google Doc, I don't know how to adjust the formula to make the points double. So if you know how to,
okay, whatever. It doesn't change it.
Doing it.
It doesn't change my answer. So I'm going to give a brief overarching thing of how I do bootless or how I do prop bets. So basically I think about approximately what the chances of each event happening. What's the chance that someone on a season makes the jury or someone finds a hidden immunity idol. And then I figure out which characters are most likely to, have these things happen to them. So it's usually a quirky, bubbly person that hugs Jeff Probst. So I'm not going to pick War Dog to hug Jeff Probst. So I basically do process of elimination that way, and then I find out who my prop bet winner is. Also, I'm diversifying my assets. This is a really long way to say that I think Aubrey is going to win at 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is not where I thought you were going with that.
Yeah, I didn't want to go all in on Rick because I still want to win something, and I don't really know anything, so I'm going to not put Rick as the winner this time. And I think Aubrey, she's still a strong contestant that's able to win. And I felt like a lot of other people went better other places. And I also think that you should have 3 on the winner because it's someone you should be confident about. So that's my answer.
And the winner's guaranteed to happen. So that's I like what you said there. When I'm doing this too, jury, I always tend to put 3 points on because people are always going to be on the jury. Somebody's going to win the season. But when it comes to hashtag blindside, that might not even happen. Somebody leaving after getting their torch snuffed and not saying any words, that might not even happen. And by the way, that one is from the time that Jeff reads your last vote until your torch is snuffed, you don't say any words. After Jeff snuffs your torch, doesn't matter. But that might not happen. Like, people might talk the entire time, but somebody is
talking a lot more.
Yeah. There's no guarantee that there's going to be somebody who's in a challenge for over an hour. There's no guarantee that somebody will sit out 3 times or that Jeff will be hugged. So, like, I agree. Like, if you're going to pick a winner, I only have 2 points on it. But if you're going to pick a winner, like, you should like probably put more than 1 on it, because there's guaranteed to be a winner of this season, and there's not guaranteed to be other props here.
All right, so who do you have for your winner pick, Will or Phil, whoever?
Whoa, what's that?
Gosh.
I was thinking Phil, and I saw winner on my spreadsheet, and I combined the words.
Yeah, you're getting combined, Alexa. How do you mute him? You have the control room, right?
Oh,
it
yeah,
was winner Phil.
Last time. If you guys start arguing, I'm going to mute both of you.
Can you just mute him now for calling me Will? I mean, what is that?
I don't even know how to mute.
Goodbye, viewers. Goodbye, audience.
You could have said
he had a good run, but he called Phil basically Satan.
Yeah, what is wrong with you, dude? Jeez, I'm the reason that you're here. I was the one who was pushing for you. Alexa said no. Everybody's had enough of him.
That's BS. I'm the only one who talked to him for the first month.
Yeah, well, that's true too. You're the only one who calls him by his real name, which is also silly. That should.
I know. My mom got mad at me. She was like, "You guys are so mean to him. You call him Intern," and I was like, "I call him Robert."
Yeah, but he is Intern.
Okay, so now I am going to go to my winner.
Okay, so Alexis,
which is no surprise because I'm picking my number 2 from the boot list. I am putting Lauren with 3 points. I think my first time doing this, I put my winner at 1 point, and True Will, like eviscerated me for it. So
that was the Jerry.
Oh, it was the Jerry? Okay.
Yeah.
He yells at me for a lot of things, but apparently that was it. And apparently it was super memorable. This should come as no surprise. I think from inputting a lot of boot lists, people were putting Lauren really high. They're putting Eric high. They're putting Kelly high. And it's probably because the 3 of us put them all like relatively high up because we are very influential and smart. But I think Lauren's got the whole package. We already kind of talked about her extensively, but she was one of the first people I put up on winners. So hopefully she doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, I went with Eric because I went with Lauren in the bootless game because you had Eric, and I figured that you would swap. So I swapped, and then this is exactly what we did with Dom and Wendell that one season, where I went with Dom and you went with Wendell, and then at the end of the day, they end up sitting next to each other, and going into the finale, I picked Wendell and you picked Dom. So we did a complete reversal. But yeah, I went with Eric. Also, it's really weird. Alexa and I were talking about this beforehand. The views necessarily on our YouTube videos aren't as high as they were last season, which I was like, well, maybe that's on us, maybe that's not. But then, like, I've been looking at a lot of the tweets from survivors on this upcoming season, and not many people are getting like retweets, favorites, a lot of that. Eric had a tweet today that had like 3 favorites or something like that in like 3 hours. It's a long time for a person who's going to be on your TV in a week on a CBS show that people are probably going to be communicating with a lot. He only had 3 favorites. So I'm just like, I don't feel like there's like a lot of hype going into this season, and most of it is around the 4 returning players. So I'm going to go with Eric, and I'm going to think that like Eric and Lauren do have the best chance to win out of the newbies. But the more that I keep watching this Rick stuff, the more I think Rick can be an absolute star on this season. But a lot of this is just going to revolve around the returning players, especially this premiere. I feel like the premiere is going to be run by the returning players, having a couple of the big major new players sprinkled in. But it's making it really hard to get a read because nobody on social media is getting like blown up this season. And Rick really is the only one because he had a head start on everybody, but none of these newbies are getting anything crazy. So I just wanted to point that out. Eric's my winner though, with 2 points.
Yeah, and I'm glad, Robert, you're here because Phil, I think we alluded to this when we were doing the Bills game, but in these like preseason podcasts, Phil and I are always kind of going the same route because we've no one to tell us otherwise. And so I'm glad that you picked Aubrey as your winner.
Of course.
So
glad
you're making things spicy. Would you like to start with your choice for #blindside?
So for #blindside, I think generally the person that gets #blindsided is someone who like comes in really headstrong and isn't like through whatever reason isn't like always aware of all the other plans that could be happening. So I'm gonna go with Chris at 1 because I think he's someone who would be like, oh yeah, like of course my plan is gonna work. Why wouldn't it? And then you get blindsided. So there's my answer.
Okay. I have Aurora with 2 because I think that the hashtag blindside is coming back. And I really do think that it wasn't used last season because like the season just had blindside after blindside after blindside after blindside, and it would have been pointless to put it. I mean, Carl's was a blindside. Gabby and Christian were both kind of blindsides. There was just so many blindsides on that season. Yeah, John and Dan. Like, so there's so many blindsides on that season that I don't feel like it's necessary to put it in. Whereas I think that now you go back to a normal season, there's a chance that it just pops up. Ghost Island had it in the first 2 episodes. So, I think that that's going to happen again. So I put 2 points on it, and I put Aurora, and this was one of the last bets I made. I just wasn't sure where else to put Aurora. The last 2 people I had left on my sheet were Aurora and Reem, and I had the hardest time figuring out where I should put them. So, yeah, so I have Aurora here. There's really no other reason.
I think both those are pretty good choices. I had Chris and Aurora into like pretty different spots, but this was another one where I wasn't really sure how to place. I put her at a 2, and I definitely should have put her at a 1, but I have Victoria here. And kind of like to Robert's point with Chris, the person who's getting blindsided is usually like very headstrong, and there's a lot of confidence there. And I think Victoria would self-admit that she's very headstrong. I think she's really confident. She does seem to be pretty self-aware, and usually people who are self-aware do not get blindsided. But I imagine her boot being something explosive, something like really, really fun as a viewer, and that usually goes hand in hand with the blindside. So that's my logic for having Victoria there. Okay.
I want to go first on number 3. I'm going to go ahead of Intern. He doesn't get to lead the way on all of them because I do think that find a hidden immunity idol. This is like, I think this is the lock of the entire thing. I have David with 3 points. There are idols on every island. David is going to be lined up with Kelly Wentworth to start, who has found an idol in the past. So, that could happen. But David found idols on his season easily. He had no trouble finding idols. He found what? Did he find 2 or did he find 3? He found multiple. And so he has such an advantage over the newbies because he knows what he's looking for. And Kelly Wentworth's first idol find was actually at a challenge. So this is going to make me sound dumb, but I don't remember in Cambodia, did she end up finding a idol at camp, or did she only find the idol at the challenge? Anybody?
I'm going to defer to you, Robert.
I don't remember this one. Let's. I'm going to Wikipedia
was her
this.
Big time? Yeah, Wikipedia that in the meantime. Was the big time Andrew Savage blindside? Was that done with the idol found at the challenge?
I don't remember. I need to rewatch Cambodia. I only watched it once, so I don't remember.
Because I know she obviously played an idol at that tribal council. Let's see what the chat's saying. They usually yell at us about things. She found one under the shelter. Okay.
Oh, so she found one under the shelter. But still, okay. So she finds one under the shelter, right? Which has a much different effect. Like David's were found in like the woods. So I think that David just has a better chance of finding an idol than anybody else does on this season. I think that like because he's done it, because he's played once, because he's gonna know he needs it right off the bat, because this guy's gonna have a huge target on his back. I just really think that David has the best chance to find one. So I put him at 3 points. And I think it's like a guarantee. Even if he goes early, I feel like he's gonna end up finding an idol anyway.
So I have David for this as well. I have him at 1, and the only reason I have him at 1, I probably should have switched my numbers with him and Victoria. I should have given him a 2. The only reason is because I think he might get voted out ASAP. But you're right. People find idols in premieres all the time. So he very well could find that and like immediately need to play it. But I have the exact same reasoning as you. He's really good at finding them, and he is going to hit the beach knowing that he has to get that idol. Because if he's in a tribe with like Joe or Kelly, like at least they are like very clearly, obviously helpful in the tribal phase. I think David is like, I'm too new. This is only my second chance. They're going to be coming real hot at me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think, you put 1 on it, I'll give you a chance if you want to change your mind, but then you have to do your math all over again. But I think an idol is going to be found on every single season. So, like, putting 1 point on and finding him an idol, I feel like, yeah, like, it might be hard to pick the right person, but there's like 4 or 5 idols found every season now. So I feel like that gives you a really good chance to get it. So I would always put more than 1 point on that.
Would you allow me to switch with Victoria? Can I put Victoria at 1 with the blindside and David at 2 with the idol?
Let's ask Intern. Let's let him make
I'm down with it. I'm fine with it.
That's fine.
It's a fluid
Hey,
thing.
good teamwork, guys.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna co-sign that. I say that that David is really good at finding idols, and even though he's still gonna get voted, he might get voted out early. That's why I have War Dog in for 3 at finding a hidden immunity idol. I think David's still gonna get voted out early, and he's not gonna find an idol. So
I think War Dog's a good choice for this.
War Dog for 3.
I mean, I'm completely all in on War Dog being the one who takes down Joe in Extinction Island, and that's why he's super pumped. So I have War Dog somewhere else. Hint, hint, it's on winning an Extinction Island challenge.
What could he possibly be?
Yeah, so I'm just like confident in that. But I agree with you. I think War Dog is somebody who's going to come in. He already seems like everybody keeps comparing him to Joe Mena, but I think he's got the mentality more of Tony, where he wants to come in and cause like chaos, but in a game way. Like, I think that, he's lying. He's not saying that he's like in law school because he doesn't want people to know that about him. He just wants to play up that he's a military guy. And I think that that's like how Tony was thinking all the time. I mean, it's very loud. It's very in your face, but it might not always be the truth. And I think that's how War Dog's going to come out playing. He's going to be looking for idols like crazy.
I think War Dog could apply to like 10 of these.
Yeah, getting War Dog in this game is going to be big. And I think that if you don't get War Dog correct, you could be in bad shape for actually winning this game, if that makes sense. Like for winning the prop bet game.
Hopefully one of the 3 of us wins, because that doesn't.
Yeah, we've never even been.
I would love to win. Oh, that'd be great.
That would be really funny if you won.
It's funny because you always beat us and you finish like bottom 10% of like all of our viewers. That's how bad Alexa and I are at this.
Oh yeah, we forgot to give this spiel. I was putting in a boot list today that like there's probably some form of major spoiler. We will know if you are using spoilers. For prop bet, it's like not as easy to use spoilers, but for boot lists especially, like we know who you are and we will delete you off the internet if you do a spoiler, so don't do it.
Yeah, pretty much the whole thing is if we come across even like a fake spoiler in one of the forums or something, or somebody posts it into our YouTube thing and it's like not just somebody trolling, but it's somebody who's actually trying to post a fake spoiler. If we see a boot list that looks anything similar to that, we just delete it, even if it's wrong. And I think that was like for Ghost Island, there was one going around that had Brendan in like the final 5, and I forget who it had winning, but it was so wrong. But so many people were copying it and like switching around 1 or 2 of the players, and it was funny to delete them and then also see that they would have had like 400 points in the bootless game and weren't even close to winning. So don't cheat off of fake things. How are we even going to know what the bootless game this season? So anyway, next one we got gets 10 or more votes over the course of the entire game. This does not count votes for the winner. This only counts votes against you while you're in the game, and it does count votes that are nullified by playing an idol. So, last year Christian definitely had more than 10 votes, whether you counted his idol nullified votes or not, but we would have counted them anyway. Alexa, why don't you go first this time, because you haven't yet?
Sure, I will. Oh my gosh, I did not put a number on this person.
Oh,
all right, well, I'm going to put 2, and I have Aurora here. I think Aurora is awesome. Like, I don't know if she's going to be a train wreck or the winner, and I really like people like that. But I just envision, I think she's aware of like how she is perceived by others. And so like she is super smart, super strong-willed, and I think that's going to get her super far, but that is also going to put a like wide target consistently on her back. So I think people are going to be throwing votes at her all season. And I think she's also going to last a while. So like if she's making like late merge, she's going to have a ton of votes sitting on her just from like, let's say she's a decoy vote in the second tribal council.
What's interesting about this one now is you can get 6 votes, get voted out, go to Extinction Island, get back in the game, and then get 5 votes again later in the game. Get voted out of the game twice, only receive votes at those 2 tribals, but still get the over 10 votes. So, somebody who gets voted off first, let's say they get voted off in a 5-4 vote, because these are 9-person tribes. If you had the 5 or less votes on them, you would be like, yes, I'm going to get those points, but they could come back into the game, get votes, and now you have more than 5 votes. So this is like, I feel like this is a little bit tougher because you don't really know who's going to come back into the game. I mean, remember, Laura Moret won her way back into the game in Blood versus Water. So it's not necessarily just challenge beasts who get back into it. I have Victoria for the 10 or more votes. So I know I gave you guys both like a hard time for putting Victoria low in the bootless game, and then I didn't even put her that high. But I think that she's going to be somebody who gets a lot of votes because I think she's going to be like loud and kind of headstrong. And she said she's half Italian, half Puerto Rican, and she's like, oh yeah, and I like wear both of those on my sleeve. So I think that she's going to be somebody who's going to at least be on radars early on. So I have 2 points on that, and we'll see how that goes with Victoria here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kelly Wentworth is going to be getting 10 or more votes. I think that even though she's a really good player, like physically and strategically and socially, I feel like she's always, because she's a returning player and because she's so good, she's always going to have like a target on her back. But I think she'll be good enough to mostly mitigate that. So like she'll always be getting like 1 or 2 votes here, like maybe 2 votes there, maybe kind of like Allison did last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she'll be able to make it far enough into the game where eventually it'll rack up to 10. It won't be like 10 in 1 vote or something. She could find an idol and then nullify some of those votes and then help her get more. But I'm only having her at 1 because I don't know, I'm not feeling too strong about it.
Go ahead, Phil.
No, go ahead, Alex. I was just gonna.
It's just a really good point that like a returning player should probably be the one to be in this one because, like you said, they're going to be targets the entire time, and they're probably going to find idols because they know what they're doing. And they could come back from Extinction Island and just be thrown back there. So that's a really good point. I should have seen that.
I just don't know, though, because I'm going to go – I want to go back and look at South Pacific real quick. I'm just going to pull this up, and maybe I'll be able to find it, and maybe I won't. If you go back to South Pacific, Coach got, like, 0 votes that entire game.
Yes,
okay.
But, like, him and the Rob, that was like a – cultish kind of thing. Like I don't think we're at that kind of Survivor anymore.
Yeah, but I'm just like I'm having this feeling like just because people are targets doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get votes. Ozzy got votes in that one tribal council because he asked to be voted off so that they could go and knock Christine out of the game instead of voting out Cochran. So like Ozzy got votes there, comes back into the game later, and then doesn't get a vote again until he got voted out. Whenever he got voted out, but like Ozzy didn't get voted out until there were 9 people left in the game or whatever it would have been. But it was a strategy to vote him out the first time. So yes, these people are targets, but sometimes early on they're used more than they're voted out. Really, the only one we've seen be a target from the start and go home because of it is Russell. Everybody else who comes in on these seasons hangs around. Even Russell Swan, despite the fact that he got 13th place or whatever it was, or was it was a 15th place. Despite the fact that he gets 15th place on his season, it was only because Malcolm and Denise had a relationship and they ran out of people to vote out on their tribe. They still voted out Angie and Roxy and Zane before him. And then it just came down to, okay, well, hopefully we don't lose again and we'll keep Russell. They lost again. They had no choice but to vote out Russell. Scoopin goes all the way to the final 3. And Jonathan Penner went pretty far before he even got a vote. So I think that, yes, there's an argument to be made that they're going to be threats the entire time, but people can be kind of blinded by it. And let's say Kelly Wentworth does get 1 or 2 friends right off the bat. And now it becomes harder to try to pin votes on her because then you're putting a target on yourself. And if anybody can spin it against you, it's the returning players to be like, why are you gunning for me? You shouldn't be gunning for me. This doesn't make sense. And then they build up a little bit of an army and you pull the whole Rob thing or you pull the whole Coach thing where it's like, oh, how could you possibly think you should vote me out when Christine said right away we should vote out Coach and Coach doesn't get a vote the entire game, which is insane. So I hear where your logic's at because Wentworth is a huge threat, but I have Wentworth for something else just because I think that she's going to be a huge character on the season. So
to counteract your point, Phil, if you're in a minority against a returning player in a majority, say Kelly Wentworth's in the majority, and you're trying to like wheel and deal your way back into the game, who are you going to try to pin your votes against to maybe flip the script a bit? Kelly Wentworth. Then you fail the wheeling and dealing. She gets 1 or 2 votes because of like your other one friend that you have. She racks those up throughout the entire game.
No, that's true. That easily could happen, but I also feel like what we've seen in recent seasons, and if you get rid of David versus Goliath, because David versus Goliath was a complete anomaly, but what we've seen in recent seasons is instead of trying to go for the head of the snake right away, they kind of go for something else. They go for somebody who's a little bit easier. And so in those situations where you're trying to weaken Kelly and get Kelly out of the game, you might be scared she has an idol. You might be scared that she's just too difficult to pull a blindside on. And instead what you do is you turn around and vote out one of her allies, and now her numbers have dwindled. And then when you actually can vote out Kelly, it's when there's 7 people left in the game. And it's, one of those situations where you say, we're not going to let her get to the end. But you could be right too. I just want to argue with you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. We need that. Wait, so did Alexa or I even go? I don't even think we did. We did.
You guys went first, yeah.
Did you put them in the Google Doc?
I am putting them in the Google Doc. Yeah, they're in there.
I'll do that.
So now we're at 5, which is no. I have you in there, Robert. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
I'm doing it for you. So for number 5, it's gets 5 or less votes. So the complete opposite of the one we just did. So Robert and I can have a completely different argument if you would like to. But pretty much along the same lines. I have Keith for this. I have 2 points on it. I know a lot of people are saying Keith goes early. That's the vibe around here. I do think though that even if he does go early, I don't think he's the first person to be voted off his tribe. So I don't see an 8-1 vote. I don't really see a 7-1 vote. And I'm hoping that he might be able to pull somebody over to his side and maybe go if they swap the 3 tribes, or after a swap, he gets voted out, in like a 5, in like a 4-3 vote or a 5-2 vote, whatever it would be, whatever the swap number would happen at. So I'm banking on him doing it because this is a tough one. There's nobody who like screams they're not going to get votes early and then they'll just get voted off whenever. And also this is more difficult because when you start on a smaller tribe, the first boot, whoever you think the first boot is going to be, you can put the 5 or less votes on them because if it's a 6-person tribe, if they go out 5-1, you just put it on whoever you think is going to be the first boot. This season, it's a 9-person tribe, which makes it more difficult.
I think Keith's a good choice. I got distracted because you said, this is me going on a total side tangent. You said like people are thinking Keith's not going to make it very far. And this is totally irrelevant to everything we're talking about. But like what vibe is Keith giving off that people just think he's not going to go far? Like that makes me feel like there's some spoiler floating around that like people just think he's going to go in the tribal phase, because on paper he seems perfectly fine. And on social media, he's not interacting much, but neither is anybody. So that's not like a point of view, Phil. That's just like, I think it's weird that the entire internet is telling us like, oh yeah, he's just giving me like 4th boot vibes.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Weird to me, So with that,
can I defend that real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, I think with Keith, it's because he's young, because he's not outdoorsy. And I think those are 2 really big things. He's 19. He's not an outdoorsy type of person. And then
but also, that's like your thing.
Yeah, but from the ET,
I
didn't even watch the ET videos, but I've just been reading what people have said about the ET Canada videos. And like the main thing with his ET Canada video is that people were saying that he's like hyper. He's like I don't even know. Like I don't know what the words they've used to describe him are, but it just seems like somebody who I don't know. To me, it's like maybe he goes to final 6 and just gets voted out there, and then he only gets 4 votes too. So I didn't know where to put Keith, so I just put him here.
No, I almost put Keith there. So I think it's a good choice. I put Ron here with 1 point, so I'm not super confident about it. Ron and Keith and like a couple of the people I was floating around here, but with Ron, I see him either crushing it early on, lasting a really long time, and then going home at like final 6, final 7, just like a quick clean sweep, or he bothers people early on, or is too intimidating early on, and he gets voted out in like the swap part where he only needs 3 votes to go home.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So I have Reem here at 2. I think when I was talking about her in my boot list, I said that like she starts off like kind of annoying, but then she's like really awesome. So I'm thinking that like she's gonna do the same thing to people on the island. I think she could either get voted out in the right as you get swapped to 3 tribes and there like aren't that many people, and then she just can't connect with people and gets voted out. Or if she's able to maintain that charm that she has, then she could make it, because like the think it's like the mother dearest or whatever archetype usually makes it pretty far. And if she fills that role, she could make it deep into the game. And if it's like top 5 and you get voted out, like you're not going to have like any more than 5 votes against you. So I think she either goes like late pre-merge or late post-merge. And I think both places would be less than 5 votes. So
yeah, that's fair. Reem was, like I said, Reem was one of the last people I had. But the next one is win individual immunity. Should we all just like say it on 3, or does somebody actually have something different?
I have something different. Wait, where did I say the say it? Where did I put the say it?
So dumb.
Okay, say it on 3, Phil.
No, because you all said that you didn't have it. So I have Joe at 3, because like Joe's going to hit the merge. Joe's going to win an individual challenge like he's done every other time he's played. And he's going to get voted off like 10th. But he's going to win an individual immunity challenge before he gets voted off. So yeah, Joe, 3. Easy, done. Everybody's going to put that.
No need to explain further.
I have Eric at 2.
That's who I have.
I think Joe is gonna like. What if the first challenge after the merge is a puzzle, and then Joe like doesn't win the puzzle, and then they're like, next time will be the physical challenge. Let's vote out Joe, and then he gets voted out. So who's another strong person that could make it to the merge and is able to potentially win an individual immunity that isn't as big of a threat as Joe? Eric. So,
but I have him as my winner.
Eric at 2. Yeah, that was a mistake on your part. Should have had Eric as winning individual immunity.
I can't wait till Joe just dominates this, and then.
Oh God, I very much can wait.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of bias. I'm so sorry.
Alexa, how many points did you have on that too? Or
I had 2 points. Please check my math because I'm 97% sure it's wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do it at the end. That's why I'm here. All right, so number 7 is the new one that we introduced this year. It's wins an Extinction Island challenge. We don't know what they're going to be, but we're just saying you have to win any of them. And if for some reason there's random little challenges on Extinction Island where people do a challenge, well, that counts because we just made it wins an Extinction Island challenge. So we think there's only going to be 2, but maybe we're wrong. And I went all in on this.
Let's say it on 3.
Ooh, okay.
Well, no, because I already told you guys that I was doing Dan. So then you guys go after that.
Oh, well, Robert already said my person. So let's say 3 different people on 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was making a joke foreshadowing my person, who I have Joe winning Extinction Island challenge.
How many points do you have on that?
There.
I have 2 on Joe. I think that he's going to get voted out pre-merge after not winning the first challenge. And then because people won't really know what Extinction Island is, he's just going to win the challenge and come back. So.
Agreed.
So
I mean, that could easily happen.
Phil, I'm sorry I hijacked your description to make a joke, but it was worth it. So your turn.
No, I thought it was good. No, that was totally fine. I already said that I was going to put War Dog there because I said in the bootless game, War Dog is going to beat Joe in the challenge, and that's why he's so excited about the season. That's why he might be the only person who is excited about the season. So yeah, I have him there, and I have him with 2 points.
I think both of those are good choices, and when I inevitably do get to Joe, I will also make the say it on 3 joke. I have Kelly Wentworth at this with only 1 point. I had Joe here, I had Eric here, I had a lot of people here, but I think like this game, we've talked about this ad nauseum. This Extinction Island is made for these 4 returnees. But I think Phil made this point, the challenge beast is not necessarily at an advantage with this Extinction Island challenge, because if there's going to be like 12 people competing in it, it has to be some kind of balance, some kind of mental stability, one of those ones. And so it's not as advantageous to be like super muscular or super good at everything. This, and a lot of those challenges, like Laura Moret getting back, and who's it, like Tina also go back, like it helps to be kind of like the skinnier female in this situation. And Kelly Wentworth looks like super ripped and ready to go. I think she could be the one to win this. And I think it's like too easy for this to be Joe. Like, I think this was made for Joe, but it doesn't end up working out for him.
Yeah, and in the first time that they ever did Redemption Island, it was Andrea who came back, and I said this in the video. She knocked off Mike Chisel, Grant Matos, and Matt Elrod. Those are like 3 incredibly strong dudes, and she beat all 3 of them in a one-on-one challenge. So like, whatever. Yeah, anybody could win this. So I hear you with Wentworth. I think that's possible. But I like my War Dog idea. I've done fan fiction for this season, and War Dog always.
Yeah, you need one big one per season, and this is your one.
Yeah, he beats Joe to get into the final 5. The next one is Blindfold, which I think I've gotten better at. I don't even know. This is a complete crapshoot.
Say it on 3.
No, do you have Joe as a blindfold? There's no way.
Getting blindfolded.
Oh my god.
With 3 points.
Look at
3 points? Oh wow. That was unexpected.
Where did you guys think I was going to put him?
Anywhere but there.
Anywhere but there. But Blindfold, this is another one that Will has eviscerated me for. Like, if the blindfold happens, everybody gets blindfolded. Joe is not going to be the caller. Joe is going to be the one that they're sending out there. Joe, this is made for Joe. He's going to crush it in the blindfold challenge.
I mean, that makes sense, but there's a chance that they might not have a blindfold challenge on this season because they might not have the time. And, like, I feel like Joe is just such a guarantee to do one of the things that Rob, Intern, and I said. You guys stop saying Robert. He's Intern. But I think he's such a guarantee. I mean, for this one, I have Ron, which makes no sense because, you know, I didn't think he was going to win, and then there was other things that I just liked other people more for. So I put Ron here, and I only put 1 on it because I could see them not doing a blindfold challenge this season. And, like, screw Will. He is no longer on the podcast. So bye-bye, Will.
I need to stop talking about him. You're right.
Buy all his mantras. I don't care that he thinks that you should always put 3 points on this. Will never won a prop bet game either, and I think I beat him half the time that we did this anyway. I could probably dig up, you know, season 30, 31, 32, and just see, like, I beat Will every time. So, yeah, I have Ron, and I have 1 point.
Joe's going to crush it, guys. Just watch.
I just can't wait to hear who Intern has. Intern,
Yeah, Robert,
he's somebody that makes sense.
So there's 2 philosophies here. There's if blindfold doesn't happen, then no one gets blindfolded. But if blindfold does happen, then like a lot of people get blindfolded. So if there's like 50-50 chance of blindfold or not blindfold, just put 2 points. Everyone's happy. It's okay.
That's enough logic for one day. That makes too much sense.
I don't want to put 2 points.
I have Victoria blindfold at 2. I just think that she's someone who can make it far enough for there to be a blindfold challenge and not someone who would be the caller for the blindfold challenge. So
you think she would not be the caller?
Yes.
Phil,
that makes sense.
Off of absolutely no basis. I just didn't think she would be.
She strikes me as a caller, but I like your logic of no basis. I feel like that makes sense.
It always seems like, though, like whoever you think is going to be the caller ends up not being the caller. Like, didn't Brett end up sitting this challenge out? And he's probably the loudest person to like ever play Survivor since Big Tom. Like, he's so loud. He sat the
his accent.
Yeah, but he sat the challenge out. Like, he didn't even run the challenge. You would have thought like he could have been the caller. Who was the caller for that? It was
gosh, I have no idea.
I don't even remember, but it was when they had the no, it wasn't Figgy. It was when they had the 3 tribes because him and Hannah were sitting out, and he had to help Hannah when Hannah had her panic attack. But like Will was running it. I think Sunday was running it. I think it was Michaela who was the caller, and like Michaela's loud, but like
was it Michelle?
No, Michelle was on the other tribe. Michelle was on Orange. Remember, she was with Zeke and Chris, and you got.
I was just thinking. I don't remember that challenge.
Michelle was a caller, but she was on the other tribe. So like, you know,
yeah,
you were right though. I had her. I actually had Michelle, I think, for my blindfold in that, and she ended up being a caller, and I was just floored. I was absolutely floored. But the next one is what's number 9? Makes the jury. So this could literally be 15 people on this season, from what we've heard. This could be every single person. I have Aubrey. I have 3 points on it. I don't think anybody is going to let her make the final 3, and I also don't think that she's going to get out of the game before she hits the merge. So I have her here making the jury 3 points.
I have Chris on the jury with 3 points. I think Chris is like, and this is me really stereotyping, but I feel like he is exactly who was put on the jury. Like, he's always like the 2nd or 3rd member of the jury. Like, he's going to be super likable. He's going to be really great in challenges. And then, actually, none of this makes sense because of Extinction. Oh, crap. I still think Chris is like the ideal jury member.
I have Ron making the jury. I don't know. He seems like I'm diversifying my assets from last time when I said that he wouldn't go far, and saying like he's going to do it. Yeah. Gonna spread it out. I think that anything but 3 on jury is really dumb because there's guaranteed like half the cast to be on jury every season. So yeah, Ron for 3 jury.
I agree with that, especially on this season where they've said that as long as you make it through that first challenge, like you're on the jury. So you have to put 3 on it this season. The next one is Hugs Probst, and I've already used Aubrey, and Intern's already used Aubrey. But
I
Aubrey
can't believe you guys didn't put Aubrey for this. I have her on this one.
Yeah, you had to.
What?
She's hugged Probst. She tackled Probst.
She has, right.
This is her move. I put her only at 1 though.
She did. She tackled Probst after she won that one challenge in Game Changers. Like,
he
to the
was
ground.
So there was like a whole. Do you know how Jeff does that like weekly interview with Dalton Ross? He had like a whole paragraph where he was like, I saw her coming. I had to like get my body ready because she was like barreling at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she would have been a great choice, but I just think she's a lock to make jury. I have Reem, and I just have 1 point. Reem was the last person I had left, and Hugs Probst very rarely happens, so I think that's safe. Putting 1 on it.
I alluded to this earlier. I have Big Wendy here at 1. I saw that her Twitter tag is Big Wendy, and that's all I'm going to call her now. So.
I really like
Big Wendy at 1.
Why did she make it Big Wendy? Did that
funny.
just happen? It's funny. I just don't know if there was like a reason or if it just like did that just happen.
I would make my tag something just because it's funny, so I don't know.
Large Robert.
Big Wendy 6. Large Robert. Her tag is her Twitter handle is Big Wendy 6. So
I wonder why. Were there 5 more Big Wendy's ahead of that?
God, that'd be even funnier.
Can
5.
Can you just please change your name on everything to like Intern, however many like haven't been used? So like start at 1 and then try 2 and then 3 and then 4. Dude, that'd be cool if you were like an Intern 7000. You sound like a robot or something. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, so that one was quick. Sits out 3 times. I have Julia Carter at this. I don't know. I think Julia is going to go really far, so I think that she can go really far by sitting out 3 times. And this was kind of I didn't have her winning, and I think that she's not going to be the biggest personality on the season because you're overshadowed by some of these returnees and everything. So I didn't want to put her for like episode title or anything like that. So I decided to put her here. That's all I got.
I feel that. Robert, who'd you do?
I have Julie, not Julia Carter.
Julie.
Yes, Julie Rosenberg.
Okay, so Julie and Julia on this. This is good.
Yes,
I liked going to the boot list the other day and seeing that Alexa, this was before she had made this all pretty. She had it as Julia C and Julia R, and I was like, no, Alexa.
There is one Julia. Yeah, I didn't realize that until I think you guys brought it up in the boot list game. I was like, oh, crap. I have been mistaken for about 4 days. I put Reem on this one. I never know who to do on the sit out 3 times. Unfortunately, I usually just put who everyone else perceives is going to be weaker in challenges. And I only put 1 point on this.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Get out of here, Robert.
I have 2 points on it.
Please make your points.
I just
2 points on that.
It worked. 2 points. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it.
But anyway. What's the next one we got? Number 12. Oh, this is where I have Wentworth. So 10 or more confessionals in 1 episode. This includes if you're in the finale and that's like 2 hours and you get 15 confessionals, that's just 1 episode. We go by the night. So that last season when there was like 2 episodes in 1 night, we count that as just 1 episode. So I have Wentworth. I think that Wentworth's going to get more screen time than Aubrey. I think she's going to get more screen time than Joe. I think that David's the only one that can give her a run for the money in terms of the returnees. And I think in terms of the women on this season, I just think it's going to be Kelly who dominates it really early on. She picked up such a following in Cambodia. So I have 3 points on Kelly hitting this number.
Mm-hmm. Kelly's a really good choice for this. I think you're right. I think out of the returnees, I think like maybe Joe early on will get a lot of attention, but I think you're right. Her following just exploded after Cambodia. This is another one where I think any of the 4 returnees would be good. I have Gavin for this one, which probably isn't a great choice. I put him at 1, but for some reason people are super down on him. I think he's going to be really funny. Like everything he says is super snarky and pretty good. So whether he's gone in the first episode or if he makes it to the finale, whenever he goes, I feel like it's going to be this whole thing. And I think, or if he's like voting out his closest ally, like when it's his episode, he's going to own that entire episode. And I think Gavin could very easily get to 10 confessionals.
Who and how many do you have on that? Just one?
Just one, correct.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like with returnees, it's hard for like another character to become as much of a star as them in a short amount of time. So early on, especially, you could get a lot of returnees. Like if we were doing confessionals in the premiere, I probably would have put one of the returnees for that because I think that they can dominate the screen time early on. They already have a story.
Yeah, you're right. Have you ever podcasted during a half and half season? I've never done one of these before.
No, because the first time we did it was Worlds Apart. So. Yeah.
Okay, Robert, who you got?
I have David in it here. I think out of all the returnees, he has the highest potential to be sent home early, and if he does, they're gonna like squeeze as much David as they can out of him. And if he doesn't, then I think he's able to make it far enough where he'll have enough screen time for one episode for him. So where he has his episode.
And how many do you have on it?
I have 2 on that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, both of those are good choices.
Gavin's an okay choice,
Yeah, don't be nice. He's a weird choice.
He's weird, but a lot of these are weird. You'll probably still end up beating Robert or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I did. 5 or more days on Extinction Island.
I'll go first. I have Julia Carter there. It's kind of the same reason that I gave last time. I think she's a strong person, and people in the medical field are used to doing that. So not that like she's used to living on an island like for 5 days with no food, but like closer to that than like a software engineer or something. So I think she'll make it those 5 days and she'll be fine. And I have her at 2 points.
Julia's really grown on me. I wasn't sure where I stood on her early on, but I'm a huge fan of her. She seems super positive. And I think you're right. I think she's very resilient. I didn't even anticipate that she would get to Extinction Island. But you're right. I think if she does get there, she'll be hanging around for a while.
And like Davey was such a big fan of Julia Carter that I'm like, you know what? If Davey's a huge fan, yeah, something good's gonna come of Julia, right? It has to. Mm-hmm. I have Chris here, and I only have 1 point on it because I don't know how Extinction Island is going to work. But I could see Chris being somebody who gets voted off early in the merge, tries to give it a go, and sticks at Extinction Island for a couple days, and then maybe just says screw it, or ends up losing a challenge later on. But he's like got that build to be able to live on Extinction Island for a couple of days, and I don't think that he would just give up when he's out there. So I have Chris, only 1 though.
Mm-hmm. I have our girl, Big Wendy 6.
Big Wendy 6.
I have her with 2 points, and I think she's going to be spending time on Extinction Island, and unfortunately for her, I think it might be early in the game. And 5 days is not horrendously long in the sense of like Survivor, because she'll be alone for, let's say she's gone first. She'd be alone for 2 or 3 days. And then once you have someone, I think that completely changes Extinction Island. And if she's not the first one to go home, then she's walking in with someone there already. So I think she'll hang around there for 5 days because I think she'll be on Extinction Island.
Yeah, that's fair. The hard part about this too is figuring out who's actually going to go to Extinction Island. Like that's a good point too. How many points did you have on that?
2.
2. Yeah, that's fair because it's hard to say who do I think could last the longest there? Like probably War Dog. Like Robert brought up a great point. Intern brought up a great point. Robert's the bad version of Intern. Intern brought up a great point on the bootless game where he said that War Dog was military. He could do that. He's used to having to survive off of that. But I think that he's just a better fit for other things. So to last, you have to pick somebody who's going to go and also who you think has longevity and doesn't really fit anywhere else. I don't have much of a personality from Chris yet, so that's why I have him here because I don't see him doing too much. It reminds me a little bit of Greg from Palau, who, Alexa, you remember Greg from Palau, right?
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, next one, always a weird one. Torch snuffed, no words. That means from the time that you're voted out until Jeff snuffs your torch, you don't say a word. After he snuffs your torch, it's fine. If you start screaming at people before he actually officially votes you out, it's fine. But this is just after you get voted out. And I just have Julie with 1 point here because why not?
That can't argue with that logic.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. Robert, who do you have?
So when I got to this point in my prop bet, I was looking at how loud I thought the remaining people I had left were. Like, for example, I do not think Reem would be eliminated and have her torch snuffed with no words. So I put Keith here, and I put him at 1.
Yeah.
So I also put Keith here, and I'm surprised that you did. Which one of you guys just said that? I think it was you, Phil.
With me.
In Keith's ET Canada videos, he's apparently like quite boisterous, and this is like my fault for not watching anything. But from what I read and from how I interpreted him, I viewed him as like a very peaceful guy. He's someone who will accept his fate, and so that's why I have him with getting his torch snuff without saying anything, because I think he'll get voted out and be like, okay, this is fate, like this is my plan. And I actually put 3 points on this, so I am feeling wildly confident about it, which I shouldn't, because people don't. I have no stats backed up, but I feel like people don't just go quietly anymore. Like everyone's got to have their like TV moment now.
There's normally at least one person who does every season, so I don't know. I think that it could happen. And remember, a lot of stuff gets cut too. Remember last year we had Carl doing the Bing instead of actually hearing John's words or Dan's words, Dan's words. So I think Dan might have actually gotten this, despite the fact that it was edited and Dan still had a really loud exit. They just edited it so that Carl could do Bing after Dan went home. So editing plays a huge role in this one too. And I'm just thinking like Julie could be a quieter character. So that's why I have 1. But I think putting 3 on this isn't a bad choice, because it does happen just about every single season.
Yeah, good point.
Next one up, we have we have over an hour in a challenge. So this might not happen this season. This almost didn't happen last season, although I think 4 people hit it, but it was all in one challenge. So I'm assuming there'll still be one, and I have the college athlete, Lauren, at 1 point.
That's a very fair answer. Do you also have Lauren there, Robert?
No, I'm just realizing that would have been a good choice.
Yeah, as soon as I said college athlete, I was like, crap.
Yeah, I was like, dang it, she's a college athlete.
She is.
Yeah, so I have
actually, I'm putting 2 on that, not 1. I lied.
Ooh. Yeah, I have Gavin here at 2. I was able to watch one of his intro videos that I wasn't able to watch last week. And he does seem like kind of like he's athletic enough where he could last an hour in a challenge. I mean, you have Christian who lasts 6 hours and like only builds robots, but I think I kind of like grew on Gavin a little bit, or whatever, however you word that.
Gavin.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. And so I'm starting to like. He feels like the comic relief guy, but is also like kind of physical. So I think that he's a good candidate to last an hour in a challenge. So I have him there too.
Yeah, I think people aren't sorry, Phil. The people aren't looking at Gavin as like this major challenge guy, but I think he'll be good in them.
I'm surprised the reception on Gavin was cold coming into the season. I thought it would have been way warmer than it is.
I think it's because the internet doesn't like I'm so great humor. They prefer self-deprecating humor, even though it's still like cut. It's humor that's cut from the same cloth. But I think the internet has a problem with like people jokingly being cocky, because I think they're hilarious, and I don't think he is like a cocky jerk. I think his jokes are very fun. But that's me. That's my theory on why people don't like him.
Okay. Well, who do you have at 15 then?
I have Julie with 1, and this is mostly because I think she has a good build for this. I think she has a really good physical build for this, and all of her descriptions of herself are like determined, resilient, focused, and those. She seems like at least her perception of herself is very perfect for a challenge that requires you sitting around and not speaking or listening to people for an undisclosed amount of time.
Yeah, that makes sense. She just has to get there. My other question to you, Alexa, and you can check your math right now. Do your last 3 props all have 3 points on them?
Yes.
Okay, then you're fine.
Yes. Thank you.
You did it. Good job. Anyway, so now we know Alexa's really confident in these last 3. The next one we got is a confessional in every episode that they're in. I have Big Wendy 6. 3 points.
That's a new thing. That's gonna be a new thing.
I like that Intern wakes up only for that. Like you get like the comments in the chat. Is he sleeping? Is he always that stoic? He's unmovable. You say Big Wendy 6 and he jumps through the roof.
6.
He's ready to go.
Big Wendy 6.
So
gonna
funny.
crush
I'm
it.
just
So
involved in the discussion. I don't need to like be dancing around when you're talking. You know, want to leave the floor for
it's
you.
actually quite distracting when people do that.
I think it's funny. But I'm not even looking at you guys half the time.
I
Watch the
don't.
big one
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like I same thing because one, our faces are super small. Like the two people aren't talking. It's hard to see them. So now I know that people are paying attention when I'm not talking.
Yeah. But the reasoning for Big 1d6 here is she just has, like, if she goes home early, she's going to get a confessional in every episode. If she stays around a long time, she's going to get a confessional in every episode. My biggest fear is that, so for confessional in every episode, this has to count when they're on Extinction Island because they're still in the game.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Which
So
makes it really tough. Because if Wendy goes home third and they don't cut to Extinction Island that episode, or they only worry about the person who has been there 6 days and is going to quit, Wendy might not get a confessional. But I do think that they're going to cut to Extinction Island a lot early on to make it a thing to show people like, yes, this is what it is. And because of that, I think that the earlier boots will have a chance, which could be Wendy. And if Wendy were to last a long time, she's going to be a really loud personality that's going to get a lot of screen time. I mean, she was shown in the preview for the season. So
yeah, I think. Oh, good point. The preview, very big. I feel like they're going to do Extinction Island the way that they did Redemption Island, and they'll like talk to the person who was voted out will have the confessional, and then they'll move on. So yeah, I think she's a good choice. I think she's going to be big.
yeah,
she is Big Wendy after all.
exactly.
Wendy.
All right, Robert, you have the floor.
All right, I have Aurora here. I think if she's going to be a president of voice on the season, strategically, she'll be a president of voice on our TV screen. So I have her at 2. Yeah, I don't know. That's it.
Intern,
a good choice. She's got a lot to say.
I'm really annoyed that we have Rick in the same place. I'm so frustrated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we definitely do, and I don't like that you're excited about it.
I am very annoyed that you guys don't have Rick on this one. This guy is like perfect for this. He's perfect for a lot, and I also would have almost put him at having an episode title. But this guy is like, he's perfect. He's gonna have confessional in every single episode. He is going to be some form of narrator, whether or not people want him to be. And this guy's a morning news anchor. Like he does Survivor confessionals every single day for his job. Like this guy is going to be everywhere.
Yeah, but Wendy was in the preview.
So was Rick.
The preview.
Yeah, but Rick has a better chance of getting an episode title than Wendy. So that's why I went with Wendy here. But yeah, I
have a gigantic bolded, underlined, italicized 3 for Mr. Rick Devens.
Yeah, I think that's a really.
Yeah, may I point out.
He is. I think that's a really good one. I mean, I think that there's a really good chance he gets a confessional in every episode. But you know, an episode title for Rick just seems like, how would that not happen? But before we get to episode titles, so we don't confuse any listeners, number 17 is attends or enjoys 5 or more rewards. Thank you, Intern, for underlining and bolding that. We needed that. I hope that
and italicizing.
And italicizing. I hope that it now confuses the total when we go to input it. So I have Gavin here. I only have 1 point on it. This was a tough one last year, although most of the people got it because there was that challenge right off the bat where the Davids got a reward right away. So we only had to do 4 more. And that really helped. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Though moving forward, I'm watching this go on here. So who's everybody else got for it?
I have Julia Carter for this. I think it's really fun watching you guys type this in while I talk. I think which tribe is she on? Which starting tribe is she on? I mean, actually, it doesn't matter. I think whether, to me, that doesn't even matter because tribal, like both tribes are going to win rewards. And especially if they end up moving to 3 tribes at a swap, like she'll have plenty of opportunities. But the reason I have her here is because I think people are really, really going to like her and people are going to vibe really well with her. And so when she inevitably makes it to the merge, she is going to be someone that people are picking. So I have Julia attending or enjoying 5 or more rewards.
An intern.
I have Lauren here. I realized that when Phil said that she was a college athlete earlier about winning challenges, that I also did place her at 5 rewards for being a college athlete. I think she'll make it far enough in a game where she'll just rack up 5 rewards, and she's physically capable of doing so, whether it's in the tribal phase or the individual immunity phase, or individual reward phase, rather. So I have her there at 2 points.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm glad I put the college athlete on the non-athletic ones.
Yeah. Well, at least you had her to win, so that's fair. Like, if you think she's going to win, that's fine. If I would have put her at the winner, I probably would have ended up putting Eric, down near that over an hour in a challenge or something like that. But well, Intern and I both have Rick for 3 points at episode title. I'll let you take the floor on that.
Big Rick. Yeah, I mean he's the news anchor. Also, he was in the preview, and I didn't want to put him as my winner because I didn't want to go all in. But yeah, I think Phil can fill in any of my holes in my logic here.
There are no holes in logic. I think he's guaranteed to get
literally perfect.
I think he's guaranteed to get an episode title. Like he's gonna have one-liners, that he's gonna have to do. He like talks about headlines for a living. It's gonna happen. He's gonna have a headline that deserves to be an episode title.
He writes episode titles for a living. Like being a morning news anchor is like perfect for that part of Survivor. Like the confessionals, the episode titles. This is perfect for him.
Yeah.
Have we ever had a morning news anchor before?
No, Leslie was a radio host. I don't know if we ever had a morning news anchor.
Is Leslie?
I don't know how you guys remember this stuff, but
Jeff Varner was he was something. He was like a host of something at one point, I think, when he came into Australia. I think he was a host of something. But Leslie was like I think the only person who's actually been like a radio host.
I think like being a morning news anchor is really cool. Like that's something that so many people see every single day. And it's obviously not like a common job, but I think it's, I don't know, there's something like homey about it. I can't really describe it. But anyways, episode title for me is War Dog. And I have that kind of similar logic for Rick. There's like a handful of people that are going to get an episode title, but this guy like clearly has a lot to say. And I think this is very easy for him. And I have him at 3.
There you go. We've done it. And the Rick of 3 for Alexa is italicized, underlined, bolded, green, box is bolded. She's ready to go. That's worth 3 points at the end of the day. But at least
I love it.
Yeah, so that's it for our prop bets. That's
everyone's math working out.
I'm going to trust Interns because he goes to Virginia Tech, which is a little bit worse of a school than Miami, but I'm trusting him and his math. I don't feel like I need to check him.
Me and Rick, okay?
I don't feel like
me, but not Rick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm sorry, Rick. I didn't mean it. But I trust Intern's math. Alexa, yours is the only one I don't trust. Because you said not to trust it, so I didn't. But yeah, so we're done with that. Input your prop bets into the comment section here. For anybody who's made it this far, go listen to our boot list. But also, $20 patrons are going to get through the power rankings game. Power rankings are going to be submitted to us after the first episode. We're going to be doing power rankings every week. If you miss an episode, like, too bad, you just get 0 points for that week. It's a really big disadvantage, but you'll still be in the game. So, whatever. But yeah, it's going to probably be really fun. And all of these, these games are always pretty fun. So even if you think our boot list rules are dumb, which really means that you just think CBS is dumb because we're just going with what they said, enter it anyway, because you have a chance to win a buff. And if you don't feel like it's worth your time because you think you have a better way to do it,
if you don't like free things,
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you because free things are great.
Yeah. And Robert's still in college.
Huh?
No, I can call you that while I'm saying you're still in college because you're an unpaid intern, and that's how we get away with it.
No, we pay him now, just so everybody knows we respect all child labor laws.
Exactly. Exactly. We pay our 14-year-old intern here.
Oh my God.
But anyway, Alexa, if you want to do the rest of the talking, or if Intern wants to say something before we get rid of him for like the rest of the season, we might never see him again.
You guys have winning Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh God, I don't even know who's still left. I haven't watched a single thing of it.
The only thing I knew about Celebrity Big Brother was that the Mooch was on it, and then he was promptly not on it. But I think I like Lolo Jones as a person, so I'm gonna have to go with her, and that's what my Twitter feed tells me.
Didn't Lolo Jones dope? Wasn't she in a doping scandal?
Probably.
Yeah, she was also doing some wild stuff on the feeds that was like kind of rude. But I'm just gonna
So Alexa would like her.
All in on rude and drug user Lolo Jones.
Yeah, so Alexa drops her name and then drops the Mooch before that. So I'm sure she's gonna be really popular.
I don't know who else is on this season.
Is Tom Green still on it?
No, he got evicted.
Oh, right.
that's a
Who's
bummer. I love
who's
Tom
still
Brady.
on it who we can choose?
All right, so we have Ricky, Lolo, Tamar, Candy, Dina.
Who are these people?
Why do I only know who Lolo Jones is?
Dina Lohan is Lindsay Lohan's mom.
Okay, so not really a celebrity.
No, I'm going for her.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I mean, the season's okay, so we can.
Who are the other three?
Ricky Williams is an ex-NFL.
Oh, Ricky Williams. Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh, really?
Other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who else did I say? Tamar and Candy, they're like music producers or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd go with Ricky Williams because he quit the NFL because he just wanted to get high. That was literally his reason for quitting the NFL the first time.
Me and Lolo Jones have so much in common.
Yeah, but like he wasn't cheating. Like if he was high during the football game, he would have been slower, not like putting PEDs into his body. So yeah, Ricky Williams would be my pick then. Alexa, you can have Lolo.
I want Lindsay Lohan's mom. She's probably a train wreck.
I'm gonna pick Lolo for the memes because it would be really funny.
I love memes.
So
I love memes. So
this is for all of you who have been begging us to talk about Big Brother. I hope you enjoyed the past 3 minutes because honestly, that was pretty fun.
That was it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I like not knowing anything about it and us just asking Intern who's left and then picking based on who he said was left. So.
Yeah, maybe like on Robert, before our weekly predictions, tell us who got voted out or evicted, and we will place our eliminator picks for the remaining contestants.
Just completely randomly.
Yeah, I'm down.
We'll do that.
Okay, great.
Finale's in 40 minutes for Celebrity Big Brother. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
gosh. Oh, so we have to start live tweeting now.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Okay, I will start tweeting out Lolo Jones memes.
Anyways,
Alexa, take us home.
Too much, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take us home. Robert, as usual, thank you. You did a great job on your fourth ever podcast. I am glad you woke up. Apparently, you sleep when we talk. But Phil is thumbs downing for those who are paying attention to the small boxes. Boo, big win 6. So for those of you who want to participate in our prop bet game, you must comment on this YouTube video with your prop bets. Please keep it clean, keep it organized. You can give your explanations. I think they're pretty funny or like informative or good, but we're not going to put them in. Just make sure everything's lined up correctly. Make sure your numbers are lined up correctly. There are people in the group chat asking how they can join the bootless game. It's the exact same thing. Go to our bootless game video. You have to comment on that video. Don't comment a boot list here and don't comment on a prop bet there. Keep them nice and clean. We're going to keep reposting these videos like for the next 10 days until the season starts. No, 7 days until the season starts. It's only 1 week away. We have one last podcast before season. We're going to be talking to seasoned vet Vaughn, who at this point is basically running this country, and I don't know why he's still coming on our podcast, but he really likes us, and we love him. So we'll be talking to him Sunday at 6. We'll be doing our fantasy draft.
He beats us every time. He's like, and not to give Alexa a big head here, but he is the New England Patriots of the Survivor Specialist. Like he just destroys Alexa and I every time. There's no reason for us to even play. He's gonna win again.
Go Pats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so in the meantime, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Hit subscribe on YouTube. If you'd rather listen to iTunes, give us 5 stars and subscribe to us on iTunes. However you want to listen to and interact with us, we are trying to make sure that we are super accessible at all times. And for those of you who are not patrons, go to patreon.com/Survivor Specialists. We did our Q&A podcast. We're about to do our retrospective podcast. After this, we're going to be talking about all the different islands, Extinction Island, Exile Island, Cochrane Island, Yacht, all these different islands. Just get ready for the season. If you want to only pay $1 to be a part of our Facebook group, you're welcome to do that. If you want to pay $20 and get like 3 extra podcasts per month and occasionally get to talk to Will, which is TBD on whether or not that's cool, donate $20. We have a lot of fun in this podcast. They're a little more off the cuff. Phil, you keep going.
Well, I was going to say, and for the $20 podcast, or for the $20 patrons, we're going to do like a little mini power rankings recap podcast. So give you updates and everything. It will only be like a 10-minute podcast, but it's just something that you can listen to that kind of, in addition to the power rankings and the predictions and the recaps that we do every week, you'll also get that every week where we just go through who did the best that week, who did terrible, how Alexa and I did, how everybody's shaping up against each other, and just kind of breaking down where we think it's going to go. So you'll get a little mini podcast for all those weeks that we're not going to have Will, which probably won't be for a very long time now. So I just wanted to throw that in there, that there will be more material too, as well as being a part of the Power Rankings game. So
yeah, you get a lot of those $20 patrons. So become a patron today. And that's all I got. Robert, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, do a prop bet, do a boot list, get a chance to win a buff. And like Robert said, everybody loves free stuff.
Everybody loves free stuff, especially Big Wendy 6.
Big Wendy 6. Everyone have a glorious night. For our $10 patrons, we will see you in about 3 minutes. Bye-bye.